Happy Friday, October 18th. I'm Paul Huckalak.
And I'm Lisa Rufiange, and this is TV7.ca News. Today we talk about the upcoming election. The RCMP want to warn you about a catalytic converter theft, and the Art Gallery of St. Albert is displaying a local photographer's exhibition. But first.
Tonight from 5:30 till 8:30, the city will be hosting their annual Haunted Service Place. Now, St. Albert residents are encouraged to wear their favorite Halloween costumes and come out for a ghoulishly good time.
The Haunt has an array of fun activities for the whole family, including a creepy clown haunted house, so I'm automatically not going, giant inflatables, creepy crawly animals, spooky crafts, archery tag, a tiny tot play area, and an inflatable haunted house with a pumpkin-themed room for younger children.
You got a thing for clowns, eh?
No, I don't have a thing for clowns. That's why I'm not going.
Admission requires a Service Place wristband that are available for purchase right now. Avoid the lineups by getting yours early. For more information, please visit stalbert.ca and search Halloween Haunt.
Well, this coming Monday is the federal election, and according to Elections Canada, quite a few of us have already voted, taking advantage of the advanced polling period. We reached out to Rob Dunbar, the Green Party candidate for the St. Albert Edmonton riding, and he told us about his techniques to connect with voters during this campaign.
Some door knocking and some just literally hanging out in like a Safeway or Sobeys parking lot. That way I'm not bothering somebody at their home. If they want to talk to me in public, they can. And if they're not interested in talking to me, sometimes they take my literature, sometimes they don't even do that. But I'm actually seeing more faces by doing it that way than walking door to door.
The former chef, business owner, and corporate educator told us that most people he's talked to have already made up their minds on who they're going to vote for.
It seems that a lot of people have made up their mind. They made up their mind months ago who they had planned to vote for, which is not uncommon in Alberta. We've been voting for Conservative MPs for decades, all across the province. So that didn't surprise me, but it's interesting that the people I am talking to that are planning to vote Green, they see a future that they want to be part of, and that includes, in some cases, they're voting strictly on the Green policies, and in some cases they're voting on our other policies as well.
We also had the opportunity to talk to the NDP candidate Kathleen Pulibusi.
I'm a letter carrier. I've worked for Canada Post for 16 years as a carrier. I'm quite involved with the union, the Canadian Union of Postal Workers, and I'm a union representative, and I sit on the local executive. I'm also a delegate to the Edmonton District Labour Council, and I'm also on the executive of the Alberta Federation of Labour. So obviously I have a very extensive background through the union, but I think that's really made me a really good advocate. I spend a lot of my time consulting with Canada Post and representing my fellow workers, trying to deal with their concerns and help them work their way through the systems and advocate with Canada Post for different things.
Pulibusi went on to tell us that she was nervous about getting into politics. However, now that the campaign is running, she's loving it and is pleasantly surprised about how nice people are on the campaign trail.
Just really how pleasant and polite everyone is, even if they don't agree with the party or the party positions. People have genuinely been very polite, and then overall I've had a lot of support. Sometimes sort of unexpectedly, and I've had a lot of people, reach out to me and offer support, and yeah, so it's been very gratifying.
Now, if you haven't already done so, don't forget that Monday is Election Day.
Did you go vote, Paul?
Not yet. I missed the advance polls.
You're
but oh, absolutely, absolutely. Love being Canadian, and as a matter of fact, I'm bringing my kids, so
good for you.
Never too early to show them the process as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Monday, get out there and vote.
Well, there's a not-so-funny joke floating around that goes, what are the 4 seasons in Alberta? winter and construction. But according to St. Albert's website, it appears most of our construction has been completed, at least for the time being.
Some of the enhancements the city has wrapped up include microsurfacing, paving and asphalt, lane installation, water main upgrades, pedestrian crossings, and aesthetics in parks and other public places. Now, if you have ventured out of your house at all over the last 6 or 8 months, it's pretty much guaranteed you have run into at least one of these areas. Many residents have taken to different forms of social media to express their frustration or give accolades to the city for the repairs.
Regardless if you see these as an inconvenience or a much-needed inconvenience, the City of St. Albert assures us that for the most part, construction season is wrapping up and winter can now commence. Awesome. Actually, our 10-day forecast looks really good.
14 and 16 yesterday and the day before, I believe. It's fantastic.
Fingers crossed we're actually getting a fall.
We've been very blessed. Fingers crossed.
So, Paul, do you know what your catalytic converter is?
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? As far as I know, we had catalytic converter for dinner last night. I have no idea.
And you don't know if you still have yours?
No, I think I ate mine last night. Tastes like chicken.
Well, the RCMP are warning the public of a rise in thefts of these exhaust emission devices. They're being stolen from vehicles left parked for a few hours or overnight in shopping malls, store parking lots, or in front of closed businesses and in industrial areas.
While August saw one catalytic converter theft, St. Albert RCMP received 11 reports in September. Now, so far, October has shown 2 thefts from St. Albert vehicles and 1 attempted theft. The most recent theft happened on the Thanksgiving weekend when a gray 2005 Honda CR-V left in a staff parking lot at the Sturgeon Community Hospital had theirs cut out and stolen.
Now, catalytic converters contain expensive metals that criminals are selling for a profit, but the owner of the damaged vehicle incurs a hefty repair bill. Replacing a stolen catalytic converter can cost the vehicle owner up to $2,000 per vehicle.
To prevent catalytic converter thefts, the RCMP are suggesting you park in well-lit areas when possible. And if you have a garage, park your vehicle inside. Also, they recommend that you park close to building entrances or close to roads so there is more people passing by your vehicle that could see when something is wrong.
Now, if you have information about this or any other crime, or if you happen to see any suspicious behavior around parked vehicles, please contact the St. Albert RCMP. $2,000 for a catalytic converter.
$2,000. There's a lot to be said for buying new cars. You don't have to worry about it for a few years.
Man, if they steal mine, my car's a write-off.
That would exactly be right. Yeah, I would have to get a brand new car. The RCMP, along with community crime prevention partners, will be hosting a pair of neighborhood crime prevention sessions at the library in the Forsyth Hall.
The first session on October 29th will include a presentation and displays with tips to help prevent crime in your neighborhood. The second session will focus on tips and ideas to prevent crime in apartments and condominium neighborhoods and will be held on November 18th.
Both presentations are free to attend and will run from 6:30 to 8:30. Now, to register, go to the Eventbrite site and search for City of St. Albert Community Services. As always, please welcome our Crystal Lucier with Financial Focus.
I want money.
Generally, people are a little afraid of the CRA, but how afraid should you really be? If you always pay your taxes and have nothing to hide, you shouldn't be afraid at all. But if you think that you can get away with not reporting income that you've been making while renting out your home or rental condo through Airbnb, and the taxman sees a photo of you with a new Mercedes and wonders where you got the money, you might have cause for concern. The other question I often get is, what happens if my partner hasn't filed their taxes but I'm on top of mine? If your boyfriend hasn't filed his taxes, don't worry, the CRA isn't necessarily going to come after you. But don't take too big of a sigh of relief. Under certain circumstances, the CRA can collect a person's tax debt against a third party if, quote, a financial benefit has been given to the third party by the taxpayer. For example, the transfer of an asset like land, vehicles, cash, or gifts could be considered a benefit to you. You might want to Google tax collection policies and CRA for further details. I think, though, that there's a bigger question here. Are you willing to be with someone who hasn't paid their taxes? or is this just a blip for them? How far behind are they really? Is this a symptom of how your partner manages their money? And if it's the latter, is this a deal breaker for you? It is important as a taxpayer to make sure that you're compliant, and even when you can't pay, you can make arrangements with CRA, and they are fairly reasonable. If you're scared of talking to CRA, make sure that you do discuss with a professional, because we do have working relationships with the Canada Revenue Agency, and speak to them on a regular basis, so it's not as scary for professionals as it typically is for the general taxpayer. I'm Crystal Lucier with Preferred Tax Solutions, and this is TV7.ca.
I want money.
On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, Canadians are asked to pause in memory of the thousands of men and women who sacrificed their lives in military service. As Remembrance Day approaches, the Art Gallery of St. Albert will open an exhibition that pays tribute to the men and women of Canada's armed forces.
Photos from the War in Afghanistan is an exhibition from David Bowering, who is a professional photographer and St. Albert resident. These selected photographs on display were gifts to the Arts and Heritage Foundation and depict scenes Bowering captured during a 4-month period spent as a photojournalist embedded with troops in Afghanistan. Bowering grants us rare insights into the lives of the Afghan people and the harsh terrain they inhabit. We witness the reality of the military presence and the repercussions of human conflict. Images of breathtaking landscapes and poignant human experiences make Bowering's photographs emotionally stirring and thought-provoking.
Now you have until November 15th to view this exhibition, or if you wish, the Art Gallery will be open from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Remembrance Day. Well, our very own Michelle Parker is here with Let's Get Fit, and let's all wish her good luck as this weekend she takes part in a competition for the World Natural Bodybuilding Federation.
Today I thought we'd take a moment to revisit our goals, whether they be fitness or nutritional, or perhaps family or professionally based. Having goals can help keep us motivated and working towards a healthier and happier selves. The Pro-Am WNBF show, that is the Professional and Amateur World Natural Bodybuilding Federation show, for a handful of individuals, an event like this may be a goal. For others, our goal may be to excel in another sport, whether at a recreational, amateur, or professional level. Or perhaps your goal is simply to get up off your couch and move more. So, whether your goal is to walk more or to build your athletic performance, set a goal, then establish mini goals. Break it down into monthly, weekly, and daily goals, and then set your intention. Be true to you and make them your reality. My next goal is the WNBF Spring Show. If you think this may ever be a goal for you, do your research, ensure it's a match for you, not just physically, but mentally as well. Always remember to consider your total health when selecting the best goals for you. If you think you may be interested in learning more about this style of event, feel free to reach out to myself or any other Prove Yourself natural athlete, and whether your goal is to make it on stage or simply to train for stage. All right, everyone, we're going to get down to today's move of the week. We're going to be focusing in on our core, taking it all the way down to the floor for what we call a roll-up, and then we're going to add a variation with a roll-up with rotation. All right, everyone, let's head on down to the floor. All right, everyone, we are back down on the floor for that roll-up and the roll-up with rotation. So our first roll-up, we're going to be working on just putting our hands on our thighs and then slowly coming up to your fingertips reach your knees. So it's not a full sit-up, but it is a little bit more than that crunch. And then you're going to slowly roll yourself back down, thinking about one vertebrae at a time till the shoulders come back down. Focusing on using your core strength and not momentum to take you up. Now that next one I talked about was the roll-up with rotation. We're going to put our hands together and we're going to go from side to side. So by changing this up a little bit, we're going to get into those obliques. And if you're looking for a greater challenge, you can lift those feet up off the ground. Make sure you're leaning back enough that you're engaging the core, and then when you're done, just like before, slowly rolling yourself back down. So this is something you can add in to your weekly routine, perhaps doing it 2 or 3 times per week. Think about doing 10 reps of your roll-up and then maybe 10 roll-ups with rotation and building upon that. If that's way too easy, you can certainly increase those reps. Everyone from TV7.ca News, I'm Michelle Parker. Have a wonderful day.
Our city and Sturgeon County's Annexation Negotiating Subcommittee met on October 2nd to discuss the city's proposed annexation of a portion of land from Sturgeon County. Now, at the meeting, the subcommittee agreed on a revised proposed annexation boundary for public engagement. Now, this new boundary is based on technical studies and further conversation of the annexation subcommittee. The next step is for the city to seek input from affected landowners in November. More information on the public participation opportunities will be shared in the next few weeks. The input gathered through these public participation opportunities will inform discussions about any potential adjustments to the proposed annexation boundary.
St. Albert Councillor Ray Watkins, chair of the Annexation Negotiating Subcommittee, is quoted as saying, "The negotiation process has been collegial and collaborative, and we are pleased to have reached an agreement on a revised proposed annexation boundary." End quote.
The meeting provided the first opportunity for recently elected Division II Councillor Kristen Toms from Sturgeon County to participate in the subcommittee's negotiations. The subcommittee also discussed how city bylaws will be transitioned to the next annexed lands once the annexation is complete. The city will be sharing information on the transition with affected landowners as part of the annexation process.
Now, for more information, please visit stalbert.ca/annexation. And that is it for another week. If you have any community events or news you'd like to share with our viewers, as always, please send us an email at news@tv7.ca. From all of us here at the station, I'm Lisa Rufianj.
And I am Paul Hukalak.
Have a great week.